This is a Camille one trick, and this is me. So for the next 10 hours, I'm gonna try to learn Camille in 3 steps. First, normal games, second, do some research, and third, ranked games. I'm doing this because I'm trying to learn every champion in the game so one day I can make the greatest Viego video ever. And spoiler alert, this challenge almost broke me.
Am I fucking muted?
But before we get into that, what should my runes and build be? Your best overall rune is Grasp of the Undying for the short trades and the sustain in lane. You can also go Conquer, which is better in longer fights, but I personally just didn't like it as much. Your build is pretty simple. Trinity Force and Ravenous Hydra are almost always your first 2 items. Then after that, you can go a mix of any of these items: Steric's Gauge, Death's Dance, Spear of Sojin, Sundered Skies, Mauve Malmortius, and GA. Against tanks and bruisers that build a lot of HP, I really liked Blade of the Ruined King instead of Ravenous Hydra. I know that it makes pushing harder, but it makes 1v1s so easy and it just fit my playstyle really well. Alright, on to some normal games. My first game, I actually got placed mid for some reason, and it would have gone super well if I hadn't taken Ignite this game.
No, wait, it's not Flash!
Luckily, my jungler saw that I was struggling and gave me a much needed gank. A little later, I actually played pretty well in my opinion. I baited Master Yi into a dive and then used my passive shield to barely survive and get a kill. And immediately in game 1, I learned the true power of Camille. I didn't get a kill here, but I think my reaction says it all.
What is that damage?
As the game continued, I just seemed to get stronger and stronger with no end in sight. I did crazy damage, had good survivability, and was already carrying fights. By the end of the game, I was so strong that I just decided to try to fight 1v3. I knew my team would eventually follow up, but I actually came a lot closer to dying here than I thought I was going to. But my first game went pretty well. Game 2 started off with a tower dive that I played pretty poorly, but I got the kill and made him miss a ton of CS, so it was still pretty worth it. But things started to go downhill when I got ganked by the enemy jungler and died. And even though that gank set me behind, and I definitely was not very good at Camille yet, I was still able to 1v1 Malphite pretty easily. But in the end, my inexperience was just too much of a problem, and for my last death, I kinda just ran in there and died. Yeah, we lost right after that. Game 3, I got placed jungle, and the game started off pretty well. But we had an AFK, so we immediately surrendered in 4 minutes. I was honestly a little disappointed I didn't get to play jungle Camille, but that disappointment didn't last long because I immediately got a kill in my next game.
Bitch, you're dead!
Then I almost pulled off a sick 1v2 under my tower when the enemy team tried to dive me. But I didn't realize how short my ult range was, so I wasn't able to dodge Set's big punch. I think this Hecarim was a fan or something because he really liked dying to me this game. Anyway, a little later I got a super easy kill on the enemy Draven, and I thought maybe I can just kill everyone, and went in a little too deep. We ended up winning the fight, which was cool, but if I just waited a few seconds, I don't think I would have died. It is wild to me that Riot made a champion that can do this much true damage on like a 3-second cooldown. So after playing some normal games, I realized Camille is kind of ridiculous. So after my normal games, I did some research on YouTube, and here's what I found. Before every fight, try to use your first Q on something, like a plant or a minion. It gives you extra movement speed, and it sets up your true damage Q when you go in. This will give you a lot of burst in short trades and in big fights. 2. Stay close to walls if possible. This allows you to E a lot faster so you can escape or engage without your opponent reacting. 3. Play around your cooldowns in fights. At first I thought Camille could just auto attack and do a ton of damage, but you actually need to stay on the edge of the fight and go for burst with your Q and E when they're up. 4. Don't engage too hard. Your E and ult are really good for engages, but don't get carried away because you are not a tank. It's actually better for you to follow up and engage after your opponents have used a lot of their CC and other abilities. And 5, take your time learning Camille. Every ability of hers has these conditions that make them strong. Your Q needs to wait before it can do true damage, your W needs to be spaced well, and your E gets extra range when targeting an enemy. The point is, there is a lot of nuance to this champion, and you need to learn how to use her abilities for maximum potential. Anyway, on to some ranked games. Yeah, my first game did not go very well at all, and the game didn't get much better. Also, can I just say this is like the unluckiest Skarner grab ever? I mean, fuck me. Anyway, yeah, we lost this game 8-30. There was really no way we were gonna win this one. And my next game did not start off well either. But finally, when Rengar wasn't in my lane, I was barely able to survive a tower dive, and then a few moments later, clean up the kill. And with that one kill, I was all of a sudden able to just 1v1 Renekton Renekton without my tower. A little later, I bit off a little more I could chew trying to fight Mordekaiser. He was super fed and I was not. Luckily, when I got back bot lane, it was Renekton again, where I once again was able to kill him. Then Rengar decided to show up again. In the end, we won, but both Renekton and I were pretty useless this game. Game 7 started off with the enemy team failing a tower dive against me. And then they failed another tower dive. And just when I thought I might actually have my first good game, I disconnected because Spectrum Internet's a piece of shit. So I hopped into another game after my internet came back and I almost messed up a tower dive. Honestly, this game was pretty back and forth between Mundo and me, but once I got this double kill, there was just no way he could stop me anymore. Even though I was doing well, my team was kind of struggling. But I knew we could win this game if we could just get one good team fight. And even though Echo almost wiped our entire team here, we actually managed to pull off a big winning fight. And after that fight, our Sivir got ridiculously strong and just shredded the enemy team in the final fight. I genuinely don't know where her damage came from, but goddamn she carried that last fight. And just like that, I finally had my first good ranked game. So after that win, I went into my next game with a little more confidence. Also, the damage I do after I get Trinity Force is disgusting. This can't be legal. Overall though, this game was mostly just a team diff. I mean, sure, I was getting kills and doing pretty well, but I did not have to do much because our Fizz was absolutely smurfing this game. We won, I was positive, but this was Fizz's game. So after a few solid wins, I was placed support. And this is broken! Yeah, and I didn't just stop there. And even though things were going super well, we had a bit of a problem. Minions, okay, look, we can talk. Even though I spent the first 10 minutes setting this Aesol super far behind, for some reason, he was able to 1v3 and had a 2-level lead over my mid laner, which was weird. And even though I thought I played this game pretty well, pretty much winning bot lane and mid lane for my team, we just couldn't win fights. I did everything I could this game and honestly had a ton of fun playing Camille support, but I ended the game pretty tilted. Well, that sucked. So I went into my next game with a vengeance. It definitely helped that I can use Yorick's walls to set up my E, which is actually hilarious. I mean, this guy just keeps putting down his wall like he wants me to kill him. At a certain point, there was just nothing the enemy team could do. I went into an ambitious 1v3, got a kill, and then the rest of my team showed up and we just destroyed the enemy team. Yeah, we won the game without a problem after that. So this might be the most tilting game of my entire career. And it all started with probably the best highlight I've ever had during one of these challenges. I don't even want to voice this one over, just watch it for yourself. What the fuck? I'm the best! No, give me the penta, holy fuck! Give me the penta, this is my moment! Oh, fucking give me the penta! Please, 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 I'm coming, oh my god! And just when I thought nothing could go wrong, please.
A few moments later.
Have you ever just had one of those games you were so mad you just became sad? I went into my next game in absolute shambles, but luckily the enemy Rumble saw that I was in a bad mood and decided to cheer me up by giving me a free kill. It took a little bit, but I eventually started having fun with the game again. Did someone call for me? Yeah, despite being pretty tilted this game, I actually played well and had a really good team. And I should have ended on a good note, but I pressed the play again button. Yeah, I was pretty behind this game, so I was trying to split push, but while I was bot lane, my team died and we lost the game. The next day, I woke up ready to win. And even though the first 14 minutes were pretty boring, things got spicy after a big Rift Herald fight. Unfortunately, the game wasn't looking too great even after we won that big fight, so I put my tryhard pants on and carried another fight. A little later, we won a huge fight and things were going great. Until Caitlyn stole Baron. Fast forward a little bit and our team was a disaster. After the Baron steal, our team started typing, we started losing fights, and we just weren't playing together anymore. That is until the final fight, when the enemy team was marching into our base, and I don't know how we did it, but we threw together a miracle fight and saved the game. But winning one fight did not change the fact that my team was an absolute disaster. They just didn't listen to any of my calls, so we lost the game. game.
Am I fucking muted?
Today is off to a great start. I think my next game can be summed up best with this image. Our team had an Asol, a Smolder, and a Senna. We scaled infinitely. All we had to do was not let Yone get 20 kills in 20 minutes. Oh, today is not going very well. To add on to this weird day, Vi ganked my lane at 3 minutes and 25 seconds. That wasn't the weird thing. The weird thing is she was still in my lane at 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Look at her fucking items. She hadn't backed. Thank goodness Lee Sin came to help because I was fighting 1v2 up here. And then after she revived, she came right back top a few minutes later. And for her to be there, she must have been waiting there for like 30 seconds before Lee Sin started doing Krugs. How did she get there? Seriously, either this Ornn and Vi were a super dedicated duo, or I was getting stream sniped for the first time. I didn't even show every time she ganked, but she just stayed top. But I mean, since Vi was top all game, in the end, we got every dragon and all my other lanes won, so we just eventually won the game. But man, my games have been weird today. Luckily, my next game got off to an actually really good start, getting a few early kills and assists. Honestly, this game was going flawlessly, never worried for a second. Seriously, every movement I made was so crisp and precise, my damage was insane, and I felt completely unkillable.
Oh, I'm fucking.
Another easy win for the top lane. And just like that, we were on to my final game. Today had been a super weird day with a ton of disappointing games, so I just wanted one where I absolutely popped off, and it looked like this was gonna be that game. I was so strong that even when I missed my E, I was still able to kill Jinx in like 5 attacks. Next thing I knew, I was taking fights 1v3 and killing 2 enemies. I was getting better at timing my ult to dodge abilities, and getting better at actually playing around my abilities' cooldowns. If I was in a fight, the enemy Jinx was not allowed to play, and without their fed Jinx, the rest of my team was able to win the rest of the fight. And when it all came down to the final fight, I knew what I needed to do. I was almost full build, I was the highest level in the game, and my mechanics were mostly on point this game. So just like that, we ran over the enemy team without a single ally dying. And just like that, my 10 hours of Camille were over.